I want to give you a whiteboard drawing that you can use to talk about your basic approach to church strategy. And really there are three. Now what are we after with this conversation? Well, our last conversation on results had us thinking about three kinds of results. Now we want to talk about your model or your strategy, so we're going to give you three different categories to think about, and this is also so that you can be thinking about innovation here with the 4 paths from the Better Future window. Now, the three strategies that we have are what we call the more is more, the less is more, and the to be is more. Okay, let's unpack those a little bit. Here's the diagram for the more is more. And what we're describing here is the larger circle is your life space, and your smaller circle is what we call church space, right? And the little shapes here are those program offerings that you have. And in the more is more model, what you can see is we have a lot of opportunities to do stuff on the church space. Okay. Now in our less is more model, what we've done is the church is now designing a relationship between the church's offerings. So we're indicating that by the connected line here. And notice that there's some intentionality. For example, in a less is more model, you might have a worship experience, a small group experience, and a serve team environment. And notice that the serve team could be serving out there in life space in the area community, or it might be serving something inside the church. And so this less is more model begins to introduce the concept of what we're engaging people in could be inside or outside the church. And then finally we have this to be is more model. We're indicating the church space now with a dotted line. So we move from double line, which accentuates the different spaces, from single line to a dotted line in which it's harder to differentiate whether we're actually in church space or life space. And then we've got these functions, we've got these engagements, these time and places where we expect people to be to kind of do church or be the church in this case. And we might have 2 or 3 or just maybe one thing that we're trying to do, and they can happen more fluidly either inside or outside of church space. So what you can essentially do is draw your particular church's model using this convention, and what we find is that there are these 3 broad categories. Remember, the model is defined by these 2 basic questions. What is the normative expectation for engagement when it comes to things that your church offers, right, on a weekly pattern? So every week, where do you want your people to go and be a part of an event or a class, or what do you want them to do? The second question is, where does that take place, in the church space or the life space?